Billionaire missed her flight. Little girl ran to her crying, "Please help my dad, he is not moving." The announcement echoed through Terminal D like a crack in the calm. "Please somebody help me. My dad, he's not moving." Evelyn Gross heard the child's voice before she saw her. She had just watched her private jet taxi away from the gate. The result of a board meeting that ran 15 minutes too long. 15 minutes that cost her a flight to London. 15 minutes that now seemed like fate stepping in. The little girl could not have been more than 7 years old. Her ponytail swung as she ran, tears streaming down her pale cheeks, her bright green jacket aflash against the terminal's gray floors. She was running straight toward her, small hands reaching out desperately. "Please, miss, please help me." Evelyn set down her designer handbag without thinking. The sleek case hit the floor with a soft thud as she knelt to the child's eye level. Behind her, near gate 32, she could see a man slumped in a chair. His head lolled to the side, skin ashen. People gathered, some filming, others staring. "Where's your dad, sweetheart?" Evelyn asked, though she knew. He just grabbed his chest. He said it hurt, then he stopped talking. The little girl sobbed, clutching Evelyn's silk scarf. "Please, you have to help him. Please." Evelyn looked into the child's wide blue eyes and saw terror that twisted her gut. The kind that changes everything. "Show me," she said, taking the small hand. They hurried across the terminal. Evelyn's heels clicked sharply as they dodged luggage and passengers. The girl pulled with surprising force, fear fueling her. At gate 32, Evelyn's breath caught. The man was in his late 30s. Casual jeans and a flannel shirt, one hand still on his chest. His breathing was ragged, barely there. His face peaceful in a way that screamed wrong. "Dad! Dad, wake up!" The girl shook his arm. "I brought help. Please." Evelyn checked his pulse. It was faint, erratic. She scanned the crowd. 30 people watching. None helping. "Call 911 now," Evelyn commanded, voice like steel. When no one moved fast, she dialed herself. "Ambulance to the airport. Terminal D, gate 32. Man in his 30s. Unconscious, possible heart issue, weak pulse. Is he going to die? Is my dad going to die?" "No, honey." "Whoa. Help's coming." "What's your name?" "Sara." "My name is Sara." "Beautiful name." "Evelyn." "Sara, be brave for your dad. Can you?" Sara nodded, sniffling. Her green jacket had a small grass stain on the sleeve. Sneakers scuffed from playground adventures. Too young for this. "Any medical history?" "Medicines?" Evelyn asked gently. "He gets tired from work. He's a teacher. We were going to see my aunt in Canada. Surprise trip." Evelyn's chest ached. Single dad from the look. No ring, just him and Sara. Working hard now, this while strangers filmed. "Put phones away," Evelyn snapped at the crowd. Several complied. Security arrived with a kit. An officer checked vitals. "Ambulance 2 minutes." "What happened?" Daughter said he clutched chest and collapsed. Evelyn kept her hand on Sara's shoulder. Paramedics stormed in, defibrillator ready. They shocked him once. Clear. Blood pressure crashing. Heart arrhythmia. Taking him to St. Mary's. Closest cardiac center. "I have to go with him. That's my dad." Sara tried to follow. An officer held her. "No one else. Just me and Dad." Sara panicked, turning to Evelyn. "Please don't leave me." Evelyn did not hesitate. "I'll take her. Follow the ambulance." Paramedics eyed her. "Family?" "No, but she has no one." "I'm not leaving her." They nodded. "St. Mary's. Emergency." Sara watched her dad wheeled away, tears fresh. Evelyn knelt. "We're going now. Best doctors, everything he needs. Trust me." Sara searched her face, then nodded, hand in hers. "Okay, Miss Evelyn." "Just Evelyn." "Bags?" Dad checked them. "For Canada. We'll handle later." "To your dad." Evelyn grabbed her bag, led Sara out. Her driver waited. "Plans change, James." St. Mary's. Emergency. Fast. James opened the door. Evelyn helped Sara in. The girl looked tiny on leather seats, green jacket vivid. As they sped off, Sara asked, "Why help us? You don't know us." "Because you asked. And it's right." Sara leaned against her. "Dad says look for helpers when scared. Are you a helper?" "Trying to be." 12 minutes to hospital. Evelyn made 3 calls. Assistant cancel London, reschedule week. Lawyer for guardianship. Hospital contact for VIP care. Her influence ensured top cardiologist. At emergency, Sara bolted inside. Evelyn followed. Chaos. Nurses, patients. "Dad. Where's Dad?" "Ambulance." Sara yelled. Nurse knelt. "Name, sweetie." "Finley. Finley McLean." He wasn't moving. Nurse glanced at Evelyn. "With them at airport. Brought daughter. Ambulance 10 minutes ago." Recognition. "Miss Gross. This way. Exam room 2. Sara tried ahead. Evelyn held gently. "Wait for doctor. Hallway's antiseptic." Beep. Sara's grip tight. Door opened. Doctor out. "Family." "His daughter." "That's my dad." "Is he okay?" Doctor knelt. "Stable now." Shocked him back. "Tests running. Still out but improving." "Can I see him?" "Moment only." "You wait, friend." Sara looked back. Evelyn nodded. "Go. I'll stay." Sara entered. Through window, she touched his hand carefully. Evelyn to doctor. "What's happening?" "Sudden arrhythmia. Stress trigger maybe." "Exhausted." Sara said teacher long hours. Explains. Hydrating, monitoring. Wake soon, needs rest. Week minimum. Physically okay. With care, yes. But single dads push limits. Lucky here fast. Evelyn nodded. Best care. I'll ensure. Doctor curious. Not family. Why? Because I was there. Someone needed help. The waiting room felt smaller than the vast terminal they had left behind. Plastic chairs lined the walls in uneven rows, some occupied by weary families clutching paper cups of vending machine coffee. A television in the corner played a muted news channel, captions scrolling about stock prices and weather alerts. Evelyn chose a spot near the window, away from the harshest fluorescent glare. Sara sat beside her, legs swinging inches above the floor, green jacket zipped to her chin despite the stuffy air. Evelyn's phone vibrated again. She silenced it without looking. The London deal could wait. $50 million suddenly seemed abstract compared to the small hand clutching hers. Sara's fingers were cold, nails bitten short. Evelyn covered them with her own, feeling the tremor that had not fully left the child's body. A social worker approached, clipboard in hand. "Miss Gross. I need to confirm guardianship for the minor. Standard procedure when a parent is incapacitated." Evelyn nodded. "Temporary emergency guardianship. My lawyer is drafting the paperwork. Fax it to legal." She recited the number from memory. The social worker's eyes widened slightly at the efficiency. Then she hurried away. Sara watched her go. "Are you important?" Evelyn considered the question. "I run a company. That means people listen when I ask them to do things quickly. Like calling ambulances." "Exactly like that." Sara leaned her head against Evelyn's arm. "Dad says important people don't stop for little problems. Your dad sounds like he's been disappointed before." Sara nodded. "Mom left when I was a baby. Said teaching didn't pay enough. Dad works 3 schools now. He says we're a team." Her voice cracked on the last word. Evelyn's throat tightened. She thought of her own mother, gone 3 years now. The hospital room that had felt impossibly large and empty. A nurse had sat with her once, just for an hour, holding her hand while machines beeped. That hour had meant everything. "I'm on your team tonight," Evelyn said quietly. The clock above the nursing station read 11:47 p.m. Sara's eyes drooped, then snapped open every time the automatic doors whooshed. Evelyn shifted so the girl could rest more comfortably. careful not to disturb the green jacket that served as both armor and blanket. A vending machine hummed in the corner. Evelyn fished coins from her purse and bought crackers and apple juice. Sara ate mechanically, crumbs falling onto her lap. "When Dad wakes up, he'll want to know I was brave," she said between bites. "You were the bravest person in that airport." Sara managed a small smile, the first since Gate 32. "You were pretty brave too. You didn't even know us." Evelyn's phone lit up with a text from her assistant. "London partners furious. Need you on call at 6 a.m. their time." She typed back, "Handle it. I'm unavailable until further notice." The reply came instantly. "Board wants explanation. Tell them family emergency." She powered the phone off completely. Midnight passed. The waiting room emptied until only a few stragglers remained. Sara finally succumbed to exhaustion, curling into Evelyn's side like a kitten. Her breathing evened out, soft puffs against Evelyn's coat. The emerald ring on Evelyn's right hand caught the dim light, a family heirloom her mother had worn until the end. Evelyn twisted it absently, remembering her mother's last words about kindness being the only currency that never lost value. At 1:12 a.m., Dr. Patel returned, face etched with fatigue but eyes alert. "We're moving Mr. McLean to a private room in cardiac ICU. His vitals are stabilizing. The shock reset his heart rhythm, but we need to monitor for 24 hours minimum." Sara stirred at the sound of her father's name. "Can I see him?" "Tomorrow morning," the doctor said gently. "He needs uninterrupted rest now. But he asked about you. Said to tell his little girl he's okay and to be good for Miss Evelyn." Sara's eyes filled again, but this time with relief. "He knows you're here." "He heard your voice earlier," Dr. Patel confirmed. "Family bonds are powerful medicine." Evelyn stood, legs stiff from hours of immobility. "I'll bring her back at 8. Have breakfast waiting. Something substantial, not hospital toast." The doctor smiled. "Already arranged. Your name opens doors, Miss Gross. It's opening the right ones tonight." They transferred Sara to a cot in the family lounge, a small room with actual pillows and blankets. Evelyn tucked the green jacket around her shoulders, noting the cartoon patch more closely. A bluebird mid-flight, wings spread wide. Sara had mentioned her father saying they brought luck. Evelyn made a mental note to research bluebird symbolism later. Before leaving, she stopped at the nurse's station. "Page me the second he's awake. Any change, any need. I'll have my phone on." The charge nurse handed her a visitor badge. "You're listed as emergency contact. That's not standard procedure. Make it standard tonight." Outside, the November air carried a bite. James waited with the car engine running. "Home, Miss Gross. Hotel nearby. I need to be back at 8. He nodded without question. As they pulled away from the curb, Evelyn watched St. Mary's recede in the rearview mirror. The building looked smaller than it had felt inside, just another collection of windows and brick. But somewhere in there, a father fought to return to his daughter, and a stranger had chosen to fight alongside them. Her phone remained off. The world of mergers and acquisitions would spin on without her for one night. For the first time in years, Evelyn felt the weight of her choices settle into something that felt like purpose rather than obligation. Sara's words echoed as sleep finally claimed her in the hotel's quiet suite. "Dad says look for helpers when scared." Evelyn stared at the ceiling, emerald ring glinting in the moonlight filtering through curtains. Tomorrow would bring questions, explanations, and almost certainly consequences. But tomorrow could wait. Tonight, she had kept a promise to a 7-year-old in a green jacket. And that was enough. The hotel room felt too quiet after the hospital's constant hum. Evelyn sat on the edge of the king-sized bed, shoes kicked off, coat draped over a chair. The emerald ring caught the glow from the city outside the window. She had meant to sleep, but her mind replayed the day in fragments. Sara's tear-streaked face, Finley's limp hand, the paramedic's shout of "clear." At 1:47 a.m., she gave up and ordered room service tea. The cup steamed in her hands as she stared at her reflection in the dark television screen. For the first time in years, tomorrow's calendar held no entries. Her phone buzzed on the nightstand. The hospital. She answered before the second ring. Gross. Miss Gross, this is Nurse Patel from St. Mary's Cardiac ICU. Mr. McLean is awake and asking for his daughter. Evelyn was already pulling on her shoes. I'll have her there in 20 minutes. James met her at the curb, tie askew but eyes sharp. The drive back felt shorter, the streets empty under sodium lights. Sara waited in the family lounge, dressed in yesterday's clothes, green jacket zipped to her chin. She had refused the hospital pajamas, insisting she needed to be ready the moment her dad called. He's really awake, Sara asked for the third time. Really? Evelyn confirmed. They walked the now familiar corridors. The night shift moved with quieter urgency, monitors beeping in steady rhythm. Nurse Patel met them outside the private room Evelyn had secured hours earlier. He's groggy, she warned. Sedation is wearing off. Keep it short. Sara slipped through the door first. Finley lay propped against white pillows, oxygen tubes removed, 4-line taped to his arm. His face was still pale, but his eyes were open and focused. When he saw Sara, his mouth curved into a tired smile. Hey, kiddo. His voice rasped like sandpaper. Sara launched herself at the bed, careful of the wires. Dad, you scared me so much. Finley wrapped one arm around her, pressing a kiss to her ponytail. I'm okay. Promise. His gaze lifted to Evelyn standing in the doorway. You brought her. I said I would. He studied her for a long moment, confusion clouding his features. You stayed all night. Most of it. Sara climbed onto the bed's edge, careful not to jostle the four. She never left Dad. Not once. Finley's hand found Sara's, squeezing tight. Thank you, he said to Evelyn. The words carried weight, raw and unpolished. Dr. Patel entered with a chart. Mr. McLean, your heart rhythm is stable, but the arrhythmia was triggered by severe stress and exhaustion. You'll need a minimum 1-week stay, possibly longer. Rest, medication, and lifestyle changes. No negotiations. Finley's jaw tightened. I have jobs, 3 schools, bills, Sara's activities. All of that can wait, Dr. Patel said firmly. Your daughter needs you alive. Sara's grip tightened. I'll be good. We'll help. Just get better. Finley's eyes glistened. He nodded once. Dr. Patel turned to Evelyn. Private room is ready. We'll move him within the hour. After the doctor left, silence settled. Finley reached for the bedside table where his phone lay charging. The screen lit his face as he typed slowly, one-handed. Evelyn watched from the doorway, giving them space. Sara leaned against her father's shoulder. Evelyn's really nice, Dad. She bought me crackers and everything. Finley's thumb paused on the screen. His eyes widened. He looked up at Evelyn, recognition shifting into something closer to shock. Evelyn Gross, he said slowly. Gross Enterprises. Net worth $3 billion. Sara tilted her head. Is that a lot? More than a lot, Finley murmured. He set the phone down. You're the CEO. Evelyn stepped into the room. I am. Finley's gaze traveled from her tailored coat to the emerald ring, then to the plastic chair by the window where she had spent the night. Why would a billionaire stay in a plastic chair all night? The question hung between them, direct and unflinching. Evelyn pulled the chair closer and Saturday, because 3 years ago, my mother died of cancer in a room not unlike this one. The last weeks were brutal. Machines, tubes, false hope. I sat alone most nights. One nurse, Maria, stayed past her shift. She held my hand for an hour, said nothing, just sat. That hour kept me from breaking. She met Finley's eyes. Sara ran to me terrified. Thought of Maria. I stayed. Finley's throat worked. That's it. No angle. No angle. Sara looked between them. Can strangers be kind, Evelyn? That's how the world gets better, Evelyn replied. Finley's hand trembled as he reached for a cup of water. Sara held it steady for him. He took a sip, then set it down. The bills. This room. Specialist. I can't. Already covered, Evelyn said. Finley shook his head. Charity humiliates me. I pay my way. It's not charity, Evelyn countered. It's help. There's a difference. You'd do the same if our positions were reversed. I'm a substitute teacher with rent 3 months late. And I'm a woman who missed a flight because a little girl needed someone to hold her hand. Sara tugged Finley's sleeve. Dad, please. I want you better. Evelyn's nice. Finley's pride warred across his face. Jaw clenched, eyes bright. He looked at Sara, then at Evelyn. Every cent, he said finally. I'll repay every cent. Deal, Evelyn agreed. When you're ready. A nurse entered to prepare the transfer. Finley watched Evelyn help Sara gather her coloring book and stuffed bear from the family lounge. The bear's name was Missy, Sara had explained earlier. One ear floppy, fur worn from years of hugs. In the new room, sunlight filtered through half-closed blinds. The bed was wider, the monitors quieter. Sara arranged Missy on the windowsill so her dad could see her. Finley settled against fresh pillows. You don't have to stay, he told Evelyn. I know. Sara climbed onto the bed again. But you will, right? Evelyn smoothed the girl's ponytail. Until you're both settled. Finley's eyes closed briefly. When they opened, exhaustion lined them, but something else too. Gratitude, raw and unguarded. I don't know how to thank you. Get better, Evelyn said. That's thanks enough. The morning shift brought breakfast trays. Sara ate pancakes with enthusiasm, syrup on her chin. Finley managed half a container of oatmeal. Evelyn sipped coffee from a paper cup, watching the monitors trace steady green lines. At 9:15, Evelyn's phone buzzed. Her assistant. She stepped into the hallway. Talk to me. The board is livid. London partners threaten to walk. Your brother wants a family meeting. Schedule the meeting for next week. Tell London we'll sweeten the deal by 2%. My brother can wait. Silence on the line. You're sure? Positive. She returned to find Sara reading aloud from a picture book about bluebirds. Finley listened with half-lidded eyes, a small smile playing at his lips. Evelyn leaned against the doorframe. Bluebirds bring luck. Sara nodded vigorously. Dad says they mean hope. Finley met Evelyn's gaze over Sara's head. Looks like one landed today. The day unfolded in small moments. Nurses checked vitals. Sara colored a get well card with crayons the hospital provided. Finley slept in fits, waking each time Sara's voice rose in excitement over a new drawing. Evelyn handled logistics from her phone. Luggage retrieved from the airport, Sara's aunt in Canada notified, a tablet delivered for schoolwork. By afternoon, Finley was sitting up, color returning to his cheeks. He watched Evelyn coordinate with quiet efficiency. You do this for everyone. Only when fate hijacks my schedule. He chuckled, then winced. Laughing hurts. Sara looked worried. No more jokes, Dad. Promise, he said solemnly. At 4 p.m., Dr. Patel returned with discharge papers for the following week. Bed rest at home after that. No work for 2 weeks minimum. Medication schedule. Follow-up in 10 days. Finley's face fell. 2 weeks without pay. Rent. Sara's dance recital fees. Evelyn spoke before he could spiral. We'll figure it out. He started to protest, then stopped. The fight drained from his eyes, replaced by weary acceptance. Every cent, he repeated. Every cent, she agreed. Sara fell asleep against her father's side. Green jacket bunched under her cheek. Finley stroked her hair absently. She hasn't left my side since her mom walked out. I promised her we'd always be a team. You kept that promise today, Evelyn said. He looked at her, really looked. So did you. Evening light slanted through the blinds, painting gold stripes across the floor. Evelyn stood to leave. "I'll bring dinner tomorrow. Something better than hospital food." Finley's voice stopped her at the door. "Evelyn," he turned. "I don't know why the universe put you at gate 32. But I'm glad it did." She smiled, small and genuine. "Me too." In the hallway, she leaned against the wall, letting the quiet wash over her. Her phone held 17 missed calls and 42 emails. None of them mattered. Sara's voice drifted through the open door, sleepy but clear. "Dad. Evelyn's our blue bird." Finley's answer was soft, meant only for his daughter, but Evelyn heard it anyway. "Yeah, kiddo. I think she is." She walked to the elevator, emerald ring warm against her skin. The board could wait. London could wait. For the first time in years, Evelyn Gross had nowhere else to be. Evelyn stepped out of the elevator into the hospital lobby, the automatic doors sliding open to a crisp morning. James held the car door, steam rising from a takeaway coffee in the cup holder. She slid inside, the leather still warm from the heater. 4 days had passed since that first night, each one blending into the next with visits, updates, and quiet conversations in Finley's room. Sara had claimed the windowsill as her perch, coloring endless pictures of blue birds while her father grew stronger. Her phone showed a single text from the charge nurse. "Discharge approved. 10 a.m. Evelyn arrived at 9:45. Sara bounced in the hallway, green jacket zipped over a fresh shirt the nurses had found in Lost and Found. Finley sat on the bed's edge, dressed in the same jeans and flannel from the airport, now cleaned and folded by hospital laundry. A paper band circled his wrist, the last remnant of his stay. "Ready?" Evelyn asked. Finley stood slowly, testing his balance. "More than ready." Sara grabbed his hand. "Home, Dad. Real home." Dr. Patel handed over a folder thick with instructions. 2 weeks absolute rest. No lifting, no stairs without help, no stress. Medication at 8 noon and 8. Follow up next Friday. Finley tucked the folder under his arm. "Got it." James pulled the car to the curb. Sara climbed in first, scooting to the middle so Finley could sit beside her. Evelyn took the opposite seat, watching the city slide past in reverse of their frantic midnight dash. The apartment building rose 4 stories, brick faded to soft red, fire escape zigzagging up the side. James parked in a visitor spot. Finley eyed the stairs with apprehension. "3rd floor," he muttered. "I've got you," Evelyn said. She offered her arm. He hesitated, then took it. Sara led the way, keys jangling like a tiny bell. The door opened to a narrow hallway lined with boots and a coat rack made from driftwood. The living room smelled of lemon polish and cinnamon. Sunlight poured through a single large window, catching dust motes in golden beams. The space was small but meticulous. Couch patched with duct tape in one corner, bookshelves built from cinder blocks and planks, every surface dusted and orderly. Sara kicked off her sneakers. "Tour time." She pulled Finley by the hand, though he moved gingerly. First stop, the kitchen, barely big enough for a table that seated 3. Magnets shaped like apples held crayon drawings to the fridge. Stick figure families under bluebirds, one labeled "Me and Dad" in purple marker. "Dad does the cooking," Sara announced. "He makes the best spaghetti." Finley ruffled her ponytail. "With extra cheese when rent's paid." Next, Sara's bedroom. Posters of astronauts and unicorns covered the walls. A twin bed sported a quilt pieced from old t-shirts. On the windowsill sat a stuffed giraffe named Stretch. "My movie spot," Sara said, pointing to the couch. A fleece blanket folded neatly over the armrest bore faint stains from years of popcorn nights. Finley eased onto the couch, exhaling relief. Home sweet chaos. Evelyn noticed the details she had arranged from afar. Fresh flowers in a mason jar on the coffee table, a basket of fruit on the counter, prescription bottles lined up like soldiers beside a printed schedule. A cleaning service had come at dawn, silent and thorough. Sara opened the window a crack. Cool air carried the scent of fallen leaves. Look, Dad. The bluebird sticker's still there. A small vinyl decal clung to the glass, wings spread in mid-flight. You said they bring luck. Finley's smile was soft. They brought us home, didn't they? Evelyn's phone buzzed. Delivery confirmation. Groceries, pharmacy refill, meal prep kits for the week. She silenced it. Finley noticed. You didn't have to do all this. I didn't, Evelyn said. A very efficient assistant did. Sara tugged Evelyn toward the bookshelf. Dad reads to me here. Harry Potter last year. Now we're on Narnia. Finley watched them, something unreadable in his eyes. You've seen enough of our life. You can go back to yours. Evelyn sat on the ottoman opposite him. Actually, I have a proposition. He raised an eyebrow. Gross Enterprises needs an operations coordinator. Someone reliable, dedicated, good with people. $5,000 a month to start. Full benefits. Flexible hours once you're cleared. Finley stared. I teach. You teach dedication, Evelyn said. You juggle 3 schools, parent-teacher nights, coaching soccer on weekends. You keep this place running on hope and spaghetti. We need that. Sara's eyes went wide. 5,000. That's like 1,000,000 spaghetti nights. Finley's laugh turned into a cough. He recovered, face serious. I don't have a business degree. I don't know spreadsheets. You know how to make things work with less than you need. That's rarer than any degree. He looked around the apartment. The patched couch, the second-hand table, the stack of unpaid bills tucked beneath a magnet shaped like a schoolhouse. It feels like a handout. It's a job, Evelyn countered. Earn it. Interview in 2 weeks. If you hate it, walk away. No debt. Sara bounced on her toes. Dad, please. Then you'd be home more. And we could get real cheese. Finley rubbed his temples. I need to think. Take the 2 weeks, Evelyn said. Rest. Then decide. He met her gaze, pride and exhaustion warring. If I say yes, it's because I earn it. Not because of hospital bills or pity. Understood. Sara disappeared into her room, returning with a handmade card. Bluebirds soared across the front. Crayon sun in the corner. Inside, thank you for being our helper. Love, Sara and Dad. Finley took it, throat working. Interview in 2 weeks, he said finally. But I'm paying my own way to get there. Evelyn extended her hand. Deal. Their handshake was firm, callous against manicured nails. Sara clapped. The afternoon settled into quiet routine. Finley napped on the couch, medication pulling him under. Sara colored at the table, tongue between teeth in concentration. Evelyn unpacked groceries. Fresh vegetables, lean proteins, whole grains, a pint of real Parmesan. She labeled containers with days of the week, a system borrowed from her own hectic life. James texted. Cleaning crew finished. Keys under mat. Evelyn stepped into the hallway to call her assistant. Send a laptop. Basic model. Preloaded with training modules. Deliver tomorrow. Anything else? Hold my calls until Monday. She returned to find Sara showing Finley her latest drawing. 3 stick figures under a giant blue bird. One figure wore a green jacket, another a flannel shirt, the third a suit. That's us, Sara said proudly. Finley's eyes glistened. Looks about right. Evening crept in, shadows lengthening across the worn rug. Evelyn heated soup, the scent of chicken and herbs filling the small space. They ate at the table, Sara's legs swinging, Finley managing half a bowl. You should go, he said as dishes stacked in the sink. You've done more than enough. Evelyn dried her hands on a dish towel printed with tiny apples. One more thing. She placed a business card on the counter. My direct line. Groceries deliver every Sunday. Meds auto refill. Cleaning twice a week. Cancel any time. Finley opened his mouth to protest. It's infrastructure, Evelyn cut in. Like the couch or the bluebird sticker. Makes life work. Sara hugged her around the waist. Will you come back? Every day until your dad's sick of me. Finley's smile was tired but genuine. That might take a while. Outside, the sky had deepened to indigo. Evelyn stepped onto the landing. Sara followed to the window, pressing her palm against the glass. The green jacket glowed under the streetlight. She waved furiously. Evelyn waved back, then descended the stairs. James held the car door. Home, Miss Gross. Not yet. She slid inside, watching the window until Sara's small figure disappeared. The bluebird sticker caught the last of the light, wings spread in silent promise. 2 weeks. An interview. Chance. Evelyn leaned back against the seat, the weight of the day settling into her bones. The city lights blurred past, but her mind stayed on the third-floor apartment, on crayon drawings and patched couches, on a father and daughter who had become, without warning, part of her orbit. James glanced in the rear view. Productive day. The most, she said. The car merged into traffic, carrying her toward a mansion that suddenly felt too large, too quiet. Behind her, in a modest brick building, a blue bird kept watch over a family learning to breathe again. The car pulled away from the curb, the glow of the third-floor window fading into the city's evening haze. Evelyn watched until the bluebird sticker vanished, then turned forward. Her mansion waited on the outskirts, all glass and marble and silence. James navigated the familiar streets while Evelyn scrolled through emails she had ignored for days. Acquisition updates, shareholder concerns, a gala invitation she would decline. None of it pulled her the way the modest apartment did. The next morning she returned at 9 sharp. James parked in the same visitor spot. Evelyn carried a canvas tote, fresh fruit, a board book for Sara, and a small potted succulent for the windowsill. Finley answered the door in sweatpants and a faded college t-shirt, hair damp from a shower. You said every day, he greeted, stepping aside. Didn't think you meant literally. Checking recovery, Evelyn replied, the excuse already practiced. Sara barreled from the kitchen, green jacket half-zipped over pajamas. Evelyn, Dad let me pour cereal. No spills. Finley raised an eyebrow. 1 bowl. Minor victory. The apartment smelled of coffee and toast. Sunlight streamed through the window, catching the bluebird sticker in a prism of color. Evelyn set the succulent beside it. For luck. Sara fingered the leaves. It's tiny. Like a baby tree. Grows slow, Evelyn said. Like healing. The days settled into rhythm. Evelyn arrived after morning medication, stayed through lunch, left before dinner. She told herself it was temporary, a bridge until Finley regained strength. The truth nestled deeper. Monday brought grilled cheese. Sara stood on a stool at the counter, tongue between teeth as she buttered bread. Evelyn guided her small hands. Even layers, Evelyn instructed. Cheese melts better. Finley watched from the table, folder of discharge papers open but ignored. Never thought I'd see a billionaire teach sandwich architecture. CO's eat too, Evelyn shot back. The first sandwich emerged golden, cheese oozing. Sara took a bite and declared it the best ever. Finley managed half, appetite returning in slow increments. Tuesday chocolate chip cookies. Sara measured flour with dramatic flourishes, white dust clouding the air. Evelyn wiped a streak from the girl's cheek. Dad says baking is science, Sara announced. But with yum. Finley leaned against the doorframe, arms crossed. Science I fail at. Burnt offerings last time. They slid the tray into the oven. Timer set. Sara danced in circles while they waited. The smell filled the apartment, warm and promising. When the buzzer sounded, Evelyn pulled out the tray. One sheet perfect, the other charred at the edges. Sara's face fell. Ruined, she whispered. Finley lifted a blackened cookie, bit into it, and chewed with exaggerated delight. Charcoal crunch. New recipe. Sara giggled. Evelyn laughed, the sound surprising her. The kitchen echoed with it, light and unguarded. Finley's eyes met hers over Sara's head, lingering a beat longer than necessary. Wednesday, rain tapped the window. Finley napped on the couch, blanket tucked to his chin. Sara colored at the table, crayons scattered like confetti. Evelyn sat beside her, reviewing medication logs. School project, Sara said suddenly. Due Friday. My hero. Evelyn capped her pen. Who'd you pick? Sara's crayon paused. You. The word hung simple and absolute. Evelyn's chest tightened. Teachers want 3 paragraphs, Sara continued. I have 6 already. Finley stirred, eyes cracking open. 6. Slacker. Sara stuck out her tongue. It's good, Dad. Evelyn saved you. Me. And makes cookies. Evelyn busied herself with a succulent, watering it though the soil was damp. Thursday, Finley walked the hallway unassisted, 10 steps to the bathroom and back. Sara counted aloud, voice rising with each number. He returned flushed but triumphant. Progress, Evelyn said. Stubbornness, he corrected. Evening brought stories. Finley opened up over decaf tea. Sara asleep on the couch with Missy the bear. Clara left when Sara was 3 months, he said quietly. Postpartum depression. Said she wasn't built for it. Moved to Seattle. Sends cards on birthdays. That's all. Evelyn listened, hands wrapped around her mug. Families scattered, he continued. Parents gone. Sister in Oregon barely speaks. 3 teaching jobs kept the lights on. Subbing, tutoring, coaching. Never enough. The rain had stopped. Street lights reflected in puddles below. Your turn, Finley said. Evelyn traced the rim of her cup. Boardrooms are loud until they're silent. Everyone wants something. Perfection's the currency. One misstep, headlines. Mother's death taught me money buys care but not company. Finley nodded slowly. We're both good at surviving alone. Practice. Evelyn agreed. Friday, Sara's school drop-off. Evelyn drove. Finley in the passenger seat. Seatbelt loose over his chest. The building was brick and cheerful chaos. Children streaming in with backpacks. Sara hugged them both at the curb. Read my essay at pickup, she instructed. Out loud. Finley groaned. Evelyn smiled. The day stretched quiet. Finley napped again. Evelyn worked from the kitchen table. Emails pinging softly. When Sara burst through the door at 3, she carried a construction paper certificate. Gold star. Best hero essay. Read it, she demanded. Finley cleared his throat theatrically. My hero is Evelyn. She missed her plane to save my dad. She makes grilled cheese and cookies and stays when she doesn't have to. Heroes don't wear capes. They wear coats and emerald rings. Sara beamed. Evelyn felt heat rise in her cheeks. Teacher cried, Sara added. Said it was real. Finley's gaze found Evelyn's. Real's rare. Saturday farmer's market. Finley managed the short walk to the car, Sara skipping ahead. Stalls overflowed with apples, honey, late-season flowers. Sara chose a pumpkin for the windowsill. Evelyn bought ingredients for Sunday dinner. Back home, accidental brushes became deliberate. Evelyn reached for a bowl. Finley's hand covered hers. Neither pulled away immediately. Sorry, he said. Don't be. Sara noticed nothing, busy carving a lopsided face into the pumpkin. Sunday lasagna. Layers of sauce, cheese, noodles. Sara grated mozzarella with fierce concentration. Finley chopped onions, eyes watering. Onion tears, he claimed. Evelyn handed him a tissue. Their fingers lingered. The oven timer dinged. They ate at the table, steam curling upward. Sara talked through mouthfuls about school, friends, a class pet named Pickles. Finley listened, really listened, the way he had not in weeks. After dishes, movie night. Sara chose an animated tale about lost birds finding home. She fell asleep halfway, head on Finley's lap, feet across Evelyn's. Finley muted the television. 2 weeks tomorrow. Interview Tuesday. Evelyn reminded. Nervous. You'll do fine. He studied her face in the flickering light. You believe that? I believe in you. Silence settled comfortable. Outside, wind rustled leaves against the window. Monday, strength returned in small victories. Finley carried the laundry basket down the hall. Sara cheered. Evelyn caught him at the couch, steadying when he swayed. Easy, she murmured. His hand rested on her arm longer than balance required. Tuesday dawned crisp. Interview day loomed, but first, the moment they had waited for. Finley stood in the living room center. No walls, no furniture for support. Sara counted softly. 1, 2, 3, go. He took one step, then another. Slow, deliberate. 10 steps to the window. He touched the bluebird sticker, turned and walked back. 11 steps total. Sara launched herself at him, arms around his waist. You did it, Dad. Finley's laugh was breathless but real. He looked at Evelyn, eyes bright. Guess I'm ready for that interview. Evelyn's smile felt like sunlight. Guess you are. The apartment glowed with late afternoon gold. The succulent had sprouted a new leaf. The pumpkin grinned from the sill. Drawings covered the fridge in layers. 2 weeks of healing had stitched more than a heart. It had woven 3 lives into tentative pattern. Evelyn gathered her tote, the routine now bittersweet. Sara walked her to the door. See you tomorrow. Tomorrow, Evelyn promised. Finley followed, standing unaided in the hallway. Evelyn, he paused. Thank you, he said. For all of it. She met his gaze. The air between them charged with unspoken possibility. See you at 9. Sara waved from the window as Evelyn descended the stairs, green jacket bright against the glass. The bluebird sticker caught the last rays of sun, wings spread wide. Evelyn reached the car, the stairwell door clicking shut behind her. James held the door, engine humming softly. She slid inside, the warmth of the apartment lingering on her skin like a promise. The city lights flickered past as they drove, but her mind stayed on the 3rd floor. Finley's steady steps, Sara's cheers, the quiet electricity in the air. Tomorrow, the interview. A bridge from one world to another. She arrived at 8:30, earlier than usual. Finley waited in the living room, pacing in socks. A garment bag hung from the coat rack. Taylor came at dawn, he said, gesturing. Never owned a suit. Evelyn unzipped the bag. Charcoal wool, crisp white shirt, navy tie. Simple, sharp. Try it. Sara watched from the couch, legs swinging. Dad's gonna look fancy. Finley disappeared into the bedroom. Minutes later he emerged, tugging at the cuffs. The suit fit like it had been waiting for him. Feels like armor, he muttered. Looks like confidence, Evelyn countered. James drove them downtown. Gross Enterprises HQ rose 40 stories, glass reflecting the morning sky. Employees streamed through revolving doors, badges glinting. Finley's fingers drummed the seat. Second thoughts, Evelyn asked. 3rd and 4th, he admitted. But Sara needs stability. The lobby gleamed. Marble floors, a waterfall wall, digital screens scrolling stock tickers. Security waved Evelyn through. Heads turned as they crossed to the elevators. Whispers followed. CEO with a teacher. London deals back on. Who's the guy? Finley's shoulders tensed. Evelyn placed a light hand on his elbow. Ignore them. The elevator rose silently. Floor 38. Human Resources. A glass-walled conference room waited. City sprawling beyond. 3 panelists. VP of Operations, Head of Logistics, a Senior Coordinator. All sharp suits, sharper eyes. Evelyn took her seat at the head. Mr. McLean, tell us about a time you solved a problem with limited resources. Finley sat straight. Last spring, budget cuts killed after-school tutoring. Kids falling behind. I turned the gym into a study hall. Borrowed library books. Convinced parents to volunteer snacks. Test scores rose 12%. The VP leaned forward. Scalability. Systematized it. Created a rotation schedule. Works in any school with a willing custodian. Questions flew. Inventory management. He compared it to tracking soccer equipment. Crisis response. Recounted the time a pipe burst during parent night, rerouting families through the cafeteria without panic. Honesty poured out. No jargon, no fluff. When asked about weaknesses, he said, "I overcommit. Learning to say no." The panel exchanged glances. Evelyn remained neutral, but pride flickered inside. 40 minutes later, the VP closed her notebook. "We'll be in touch." Finley stood, handshake firm with each. In the hallway, he exhaled. Felt like defending a thesis. "You aced it," Evelyn said. They rode to the executive floor. Her assistant met them with a tablet. "Offers drafted. Same day per your request." Finley's eyes widened. "Already?" Evelyn led him down a corridor of frosted glass. "Your office. Not corner, not ostentatious. A corner-adjacent space with a wide window framing the river and distant hills. Desk of reclaimed wood, ergonomic chair, built-in shelves. A single bluebird postcard leaned against the monitor. Sarah's doing, delivered by courier." Finley ran a hand over the desk. "This is real. Start date 2 weeks from Monday," Evelyn said. "Training, onboarding. Benefits kick in day 1. He turned to her, suit jacket open, tie slightly loosened. "I don't know how to thank you." "Show up," she said. "That's all." They collected Sara from the lobby. She sat cross-legged on a leather bench, coloring book open, green jacket folded beside her like a flag. Crayon shavings dusted the marble. "Dad, you look like a movie star." Finley knelt, letting her straighten his tie. "How was the wait?" "Boring. But the security guy gave me juice." Evelyn's assistant appeared with a folder. Finley signed the offer letter, pen steady. Back at the apartment by 4. Finley hung the suit carefully, changing into jeans and flannel. Sara demanded celebration. "Lasagna," she declared. "Like Sunday but fancier." They cooked together. Finley browned meat with careful precision. Sara layered noodles, cheese heavy-handed. Evelyn chopped vegetables. The kitchen warm with garlic and oregano. The oven dinged. They ate at the table, candles from the grocery delivery flickering. Sara recounted her lobby adventures. The waterfall, the shiny floors, the security guard who let her draw a blue bird on a napkin. Finley listened, lasagna forgotten. "You start school again tomorrow." Sara nodded. "But now you'll be home when I get back." He reached across, squeezing her hand. "Most days. Dishes done, movie chosen." Sara fell asleep 10 minutes in, head on Finley's lap. Evelyn carried plates to the sink. Finley lifted Sara gently, carrying her to bed. Evelyn followed to the doorway. The bedroom glowed with a nightlight shaped like a star. Finley tucked the quilt around Sara, smoothing her ponytail. Missy the bear nestled under her arm. He leaned close, voice a whisper. "We're going to be okay, kiddo." "Better than okay." Sara stirred, murmuring something about blue birds. Finley kissed her forehead, then stepped back. In the living room, he closed the door softly. "She believed it," he said. "I need to believe it too." Evelyn handed him a glass of water. "You will." Moonlight filtered through the window, the bluebird sticker a dark silhouette. Finley stood there a moment, suit jacket draped over the couch like a promise kept. "Tomorrow," he said, "I'll return the favor. Teach you something." Evelyn smiled. "Looking forward to it." She left quietly, the apartment settling into night. Downstairs, James waited. The city hummed beyond, but the modest third floor felt like the center of gravity. Finley locked the door, leaned against it. The offer letter sat on the counter, signature dry. He traced the Gross Enterprises logo, then looked toward Sara's room. "We're going to be okay," he repeated, louder this time. The words filled the small space, solid and true. Finley stood in the quiet apartment, the echo of his own words settling around him like dust after a storm. The offer letter gleamed under the kitchen light, a thin sheet of paper that felt heavier than any textbook he had ever carried. He folded it carefully, slid it into the drawer beside the bluebird sticker Sara had peeled from the hospital window and pressed onto the fridge. Then he turned off the lights, the city's glow filtering through the blinds in soft stripes. 2 weeks later, the first Monday arrived crisp and golden. Finley walked into Gross Enterprises with the same suit, tie knotted with Sara's careful fingers. The lobby no longer intimidated. He nodded to security, badge already clipped to his belt. The elevator ride to 38 became routine. His office smelled of fresh wood and possibility. Month 1 unfolded in steady rhythm. Finley learned systems faster than anyone expected. He rewrote the supply rotation for the warehouse in a weekend, saving 3% on overtime. Juniors gathered at his desk, drawn to his patient explanations. "Think of it like grading papers," he told them. "Find the pattern, fix the leak." Evelyn watched from her glass-walled office across the hall. She caught herself lingering on his laugh, the way he rolled up sleeves to reveal forearms marked by years of chalk dust and soccer fields. Weekends belonged to them. Saturday picnics at Riverside Park. Sara packed the basket. Peanut butter sandwiches cut into stars, apples sliced thin, lemonade in a thermos. Finley carried the blanket, Evelyn the folding chairs. They claimed the same oak tree each time, its branches arching like a cathedral. Sara chased ducks while Finley and Evelyn talked. "Inventories like recess scheduling," he said one afternoon, leaning back on his elbows. "Except the kids are pallets." Evelyn laughed, the sound lighter each time. "You make chaos look easy." Sunday movie nights rotated apartments. Sara chose the film Popcorn Mandatory. They sprawled across the couch, legs tangled under blankets. One night, midway through a tale of talking animals, Sara yawned and curled against Evelyn. "Evie," she murmured, the nickname slipping out like a secret. Evelyn's heart stuttered. Finley's eyes met hers over Sara's head, soft with wonder. "Evie," he repeated later, testing it. "Suits you." October rain arrived midweek. A client dinner ran late, numbers and projections stretching past 9. Finley texted, Sara asleep in car, James circling. Evelyn met them on the sidewalk, umbrella forgotten. Rain soaked her coat, plastered hair to her cheeks. Finley stepped out, suit jacket over Sara's car seat like a shield. "She wouldn't wake," he said. "Stubborn like her dad." Evelyn laughed, breathless. Water streamed down both their faces. Streetlights blurred into halos. Finley reached to brush a strand from her eye. His thumb lingered at her temple. The world narrowed to the space between them, rain drumming on the awning overhead. He leaned in. The kiss was soft, tentative, tasting of rain and possibility. Evelyn's hand found his lapel, anchoring. When they parted, foreheads touching, Sara slept on, oblivious. "Been wanting to do that for weeks," Finley whispered. "Me too." They drove to the apartment in charged silence. James pretended not to notice in the rearview. The next evening, video called to Canada. Finley's Aunt Marlene appeared on the laptop screen, silver hair pulled back, kitchen warm with a scent of cinnamon. "Finley McLean, you look healthy," she said, voice crackling over the connection. "And who's this?" Evelyn waved. "Evelyn Gross. Pleasure to finally meet you." Marlene's eyes narrowed, then softened. "The one who missed her plane. Sara won't stop talking about you." Sara bounced into frame. "Auntie Mar. We're coming for Christmas. Evie too." Marlene laughed. "Plenty of room. Bring warm coats." The call ended with promises and recipes. Sara fell asleep dreaming of snow. Friday night, thunder rolled in. Sara woke screaming at 2 a.m. Finley stumbled to her room, heart pounding. Evelyn followed, robe cinched tight. "Dad." "The airport." "He wasn't moving." Sara sobbed, clutching Missy the bear. Finley scooped her up. "I'm here, kiddo. I'm okay." Evelyn sat on the bed's edge, rubbing Sara's back. "Breathe with me." In through the nose, out through the mouth. Sara's cries slowed to hiccups. "Don't leave," she whispered to Evelyn. "I'm not going anywhere." They migrated to the living room. Finley brewed chamomile. Evelyn found the softest blanket. Sara curled between them on the couch, green jacket pulled from the hook and draped over her shoulders like armor. "Tell me a story," Sara mumbled. Evelyn began, voice low. A tale of a brave girl in a green jacket who found helpers when the world felt too big. Finley's hand found Evelyn's across Sara's back, fingers intertwining. Sara's breathing evened. The storm passed. Finley carried her to bed. Evelyn followed with the jacket. They tucked her in, Missy under one arm, bluebird nightlight glowing. Back in the living room, Finley rubbed his neck. "Couch is yours. I'll take the floor." "Nonsense," Evelyn said. "We'll share. Like movie night." They arranged pillows, blankets spread wide. The couch was narrow but they fit. Finley's arm draped over Evelyn's waist, her head on his shoulder. Rain pattered against the window, softer now. Sleep came slow. Evelyn listened to Finley's heartbeat, steady and strong. Morning crept in gray and quiet. Finley woke first, sunlight filtering through blinds. He eased from the couch, careful not to disturb. Sara's door stood ajar. He padded down the hall. The sight stopped him. Sara had migrated in the night, curled against Evelyn on the couch. The green jacket covered them both, a vivid slash against gray upholstery. Evelyn's arm protected Sara's shoulders. Sara's hand clutched Evelyn's sleeve. Their breathing synced, peaceful. Finley leaned against the doorframe, chest tight with something deeper than gratitude. The apartment smelled of chamomile and rain-washed air. The bluebird sticker caught the dawn, wings luminous. He whispered to the quiet room, "We're more than okay." The city stirred outside, but inside the third-floor apartment, love had taken root in small, perfect moments. Finley stood in the doorway, dawn light painting soft gold across the couch where Evelyn and Sara slept tangled under the green jacket. He lingered a moment longer, memorizing the quiet rise and fall of their breathing, then slipped into the kitchen to start coffee. The apartment felt fuller than its square footage allowed, as if love had expanded the walls overnight. November deepened. Weekdays blurred with Finley's growing confidence at Gross Enterprises. He led morning stand-ups, his calm voice cutting through chaos like a lighthouse. Juniors brought him coffee. He returned the favor with donuts on Fridays. Evelyn watched from her office, catching stolen glances across the hall. Their worlds overlapped in small, perfect ways. Shared lunches in the cafeteria, her hand brushing his when passing reports. Saturday picnic brought crisp air and falling leaves. Sara collected acorns in her pockets, declaring them winter treasure. Finley and Evelyn sat shoulder to shoulder on the blanket, watching her chase squirrels. "You fit here," Evelyn said quietly. Finley's smile was soft. Starting to believe it. Monday morning shattered the illusion. Finley arrived at the office to find co-workers clustered around a phone. The VP of Logistics waved him over. "McLean, you're famous." The screen showed a tabloid splash. Billionaire CO dates struggling teacher beneath a grainy photo from the park. Evelyn laughing, Finley's arm around her. Sara mid-leap with acorns flying. Charity case turned Cinderella. Someone snickered. Finley's stomach dropped. He took the stairs to his office, door closed. The photo stared back from his monitor. Someone had emailed it company-wide. By lunch, whispers followed him. Heard she paid his hospital bills. Guess the suit wasn't the only handout. Finley skipped the cafeteria, eating a sandwich at his desk. The words charity case looped in his mind, louder than any lecture hall. Evelyn knocked once, entered with 2 coffees. Saw the article. Finley didn't look up. "Everyone has. They're bored," she said. "It'll pass." He set the sandwich down. "It's not passing for me. I hear it every time someone says good morning." Evelyn closed the door. "Finley, I'm your project," he cut in, voice low. The teacher you fixed. The single dad you rescued. Her eyes flashed. You're my choice. There's a difference. Is there? He stood pacing the small space. I walk into meetings and wonder if they see the operations coordinator or the charity case in a borrowed suit. Evelyn stepped closer. They see the man who saved 3% on warehouse overtime last week. The one mentoring juniors. That's you. Finley shook his head. I need to know I earned this. All of it. You did, she insisted. The job, the office, us. None of it's pity. But doubt had taken root. That night the apartment felt too small. Sara sensed the tension, retreating to her room with Missy. Finley packed a duffel in silence. Jeans, flannel, the suit folded carefully on top. A bus ticket to Portland printed on the kitchen counter. His sister's address scribbled in pencil. Evelyn arrived at 7, takeout bags in hand. She stopped in the doorway, taking in the bag the ticket. You're leaving. Finley zipped the duffel. I quit this morning. Gave 2 weeks. Thought I'd spare you the drama. Finley, stop. He set the bags down. This is fear talking. It's pride, he corrected. I can't breathe here wondering if every smile is because of what you did for us. Sara's door cracked open. She peeked out, eyes wide. Dad, go back to bed, kiddo. But Sara heard the tremor in his voice. She stepped into the hallway, green jacket clutched in her arms. You're packing. Like when Mom left. Finley knelt, arms open. This is different. Sara shook her head, tears spilling. You said we're a team. Teams don't leave. Evelyn crouched beside them. Sara, listen. But Sara bolted past, bare feet slapping linoleum. She grabbed Evelyn's hand. Don't let Dad leave you. Please. Finley stood slowly. This isn't about Evelyn. It's about us, Sara sobbed. All of us. The words cracked something in him. He looked at the duffel, the ticket, the life he thought he needed to reclaim. Evelyn met his gaze. I'll give you space. But not like this. She left, door closing softly. Finley sat on the couch, head in hands. Sara curled beside him, silent tears soaking his shirt. Sleep didn't come. At 4 a.m., Finley booked a rideshare to the airport. Same terminal, same gate. He needed to see it again to understand why running felt like the only answer. Gate 32 was quiet at dawn, early flights boarding. He sat in the same chair where he had collapsed, hand pressed to chest. The memory flooded back. Pain, Sara's scream, Evelyn's voice cutting calm amid chaos. His phone buzzed. Sara, where are you? Then Evelyn, Terminal D. Please don't board. He looked up. She stood 20 feet away, coat unbuttoned, hair loose from the drive. Sara clung to her hand, green jacket zipped to her chin. Finley stood. How did you? Sara woke up. Knew you'd come here. Evelyn's voice shook. She wouldn't let me come alone. Sara released Evelyn's hand, running to Finley. He caught her, lifting her into his arms. I'm scared, she whispered against his neck. But running's scarier. Finley met Evelyn's eyes over Sara's shoulder. I thought leaving would prove I'm not your project. You're not, Evelyn said, stepping closer. You're the man who taught me boardrooms aren't the only place worth showing up. The one who makes Sara laugh when she's sad. The one I choose every day, tabloids be damned. Finley's throat worked. I'm terrified of needing you. I know, she said. I'm terrified of losing you both. The confession hung raw between them. Passengers streamed past, oblivious. Sara pulled back, cupping Finley's face. We're a team, Dad. Teams fight together. Finley looked at the gate, then at the two people who had become his world. He set Sara down, took Evelyn's hand. I'm done running, he said. Evelyn's fingers tightened around his. Good. Because I'm not letting go. They walked out together, Sara between them, green jacket bright against the gray terminal. Outside, the sky lightened to pale rose. James waited at the curb, trunk open for the duffel Finley no longer needed. In the car, Sara fell asleep against Evelyn's side. Finley watched the city wake, the weight of almost goodbye lifting with each mile. Evelyn rested her head on his shoulder. We'll set ground rules. Transparency. No secrets. We fight for this. He kissed her temple. Together. Back at the apartment, Finley unpacked the duffel. The bus ticket went into the trash. Sara hung her jacket on the hook, declaring it home safe. They cooked breakfast as a family. Pancakes, slightly burnt, laughter filling the kitchen. The tabloid photo still circulated, but its power had faded. Finley pinned Sara's hero essay to the fridge beside the bluebird sticker. Underneath, in his handwriting, "We're the helpers now." The day stretched ahead, ordinary and perfect. Work would wait. For now they had pancakes in each other. The pancakes cooled on the counter, steam curling into the morning light. Finley flipped the last one onto a plate while Sara set the table with mismatched forks, humming a tune from school. Evelyn poured orange juice, the domestic rhythm settling over them like a blanket. The tabloid storm had passed into yesterday's news, but the resolve forged at Gate 32 lingered, solid and warm. Monday brought Finley back to Gross Enterprises with a new agenda. He walked into the HR office at 8 sharp, coffee in hand. "I want my salary public," he told the director. "Same scale as anyone in my role. No exceptions, no favoritism." The director raised an eyebrow. "Unusual request." "Necessary," Finley replied. "Transparency keeps rumors dead." By noon, the internal portal reflected the change. Whispers shifted from pity to respect. Juniors asked for his warehouse rotation spreadsheet. He shared it freely. Evelyn watched from her office, pride quiet but fierce. That evening, she booked their first therapy session. "Couples work," she explained over spaghetti. "Pride, trust, the gap between boardrooms and classrooms. We face it together." Finley twirled pasta, considering. "I've never talked to a stranger about feelings." "First time for everything," Sara piped up. "Like when I lost my tooth last week." Finley chuckled. "Fair point." The therapist's office sat in a converted brownstone, bookshelves heavy with psychology texts. Dr. Patel, no relation to the cardiologist, listened as Finley spoke of charity fears, Evelyn of loneliness masked as control. "Class isn't just money," Dr. Patel said. "It's language, expectation, safety nets. Name it to tame it." They left with homework. One vulnerability shared daily. November turned to December. Sara's 8th birthday loomed. Evelyn orchestrated in secret. Finley distracted Sara with cookie baking while co-workers arrived. The VP of logistics with a soccer ball, juniors with board games, Evelyn's brother Marcus flying in from New York with a drone kit. The apartment swelled with laughter and helium balloons. Sara walked in blindfolded, green jacket tied at the eyes. "Surprise!" echoed off the walls. She ripped off the jacket, mouth open. "You did this." "We all did," Evelyn said. Marcus knelt. "Heard you're the boss now, kid." Sara hugged him, then everyone. Cake spelled Happy 8th Sara in blue icing. Candles flickered. She blew them out in one breath, wishing aloud, "For us to stay a team forever." Presents piled high. Art supplies, a new quilt, the drone. Finley's eyes glistened as Sara thanked each person by name. That night, therapy homework. Evelyn admitted fear of empty mansions. Finley confessed terror of failing Sara again. Dr. Patel nodded. "Good. Fear shared is fear halved." December deepened. Finley refused to move into the mansion, not until it feels earned, but Evelyn designed anyway. She transformed a sunlit study into his space, reclaimed wood desk matching his office, bookshelves for teaching manuals, a window overlooking the garden. A bluebird mobile hung from the ceiling, Sara's contribution. He toured it on a Saturday, Sara skipping ahead. "It's perfect," he said. "But I'm keeping the apartment." "For now," Evelyn agreed. Snow dusted the city. One evening, Sara wiggled a front tooth during movie night. Popped free mid-popcorn. My first, she squealed, blood speckling her lip. Finley rinsed it under the tap. Tooth fairy time. Sara clutched the tiny tooth. I'm putting it under the pillow for the family we're making. Evelyn's breath caught. Finley met her eyes, soft. That night, Sara tucked the tooth in a tissue envelope labeled Tooth Fairy. Family Fund. Evelyn swapped it for a crisp $5 bill and a note in glitter pen. Growing strong just like us. Morning revealed Sara counting her treasure. She knew. Finley ruffled her hair. Magic has good intel. Christmas lights twinkled outside. Evelyn slipped away one afternoon. James driving to the jeweler she trusted. Emerald, she said. Deep green. Matches a certain jacket. The ring emerged flawless. White gold band, emerald center, tiny diamonds like stars. She held it to the light, imagining Sara's jacket, the hospital window, the bluebird sticker. Back home, she hid it in the mansion's study drawer, beneath Finley's future desk planner. Therapy continued. One session, Finley brought the tabloid printout. Burned it, he said. But the fear lingers. Dr. Patel asked Evelyn, what does love look like without rescue? Evelyn thought of pancakes, burnt cookies, Sara's tooth. Ordinary, she answered. And extraordinary. Snow fell thick the night before winter break. Finley cooked chili. Sara set the table with paper snowflakes. After dishes, they decorated a small tree in the apartment corner. Sara hung the bluebird ornament first. Tradition, she declared. Finley lifted her to place the star. Evelyn snapped a photo. 3 silhouettes against twinkling lights. Later, Sara asleep, Finley and Evelyn sat on the couch, cocoa steaming. Therapy's working, he said. I see the gap, but I'm not falling in. Evelyn traced his knuckles. We're building the bridge. He kissed her slow and sure. Outside, snow muffled the world. The ring waited in its velvet box, emerald glowing like hope. Evelyn smiled into the kiss. Snow muffled the city into stillness, the small Christmas tree twinkling in the corner of the apartment. Finley and Evelyn sat close on the couch, cocoa cooling between them, the kiss lingering like the taste of cinnamon. Sara slept down the hall, tooth fairy envelope tucked under her pillow. Evelyn felt the velvet box in her pocket, heart beating a quiet drum. Soon she promised herself. When the moment was perfect, January thawed into February, then March. Finley kept the apartment but spent more nights at the mansion, the custom office now filled with his books and Sara's artwork. Therapy became monthly check-ins, pride and trust no longer enemies but old friends they understood. Sara's 8th grade year loomed. Private school applications arrived with acceptance letters. April brought the move. Finley carried the last box, Sara's stuffed animals, up the mansion's grand staircase. She directed traffic like a general, green jacket draped over the banister. This is home now, she declared, spinning in the foyer. Finley set the box down, looking at Evelyn. Feels right. That night, the mansion quiet with possibility. Evelyn waited until Sara was asleep in her new room. Walls painted sky blue, bluebird mobile spinning lazily. Finley stood in the study, organizing a shelf. She entered, velvet box hidden behind her back. Close your eyes. He obeyed, smile curious. Evelyn knelt on one knee, the emerald ring catching the desk lamp's glow. Open. Finley's eyes widened. The ring shimmered, deep green like Sara's jacket, like hope. Finley McLean, Evelyn began, voice steady despite the tremor in her hands. You taught me love isn't rescue. It's showing up every day with burnt pancakes and bad jokes and all the ordinary miracles. Choose you. Marry me. He dropped to his knees, cupping her face. Yes. 1,000 times yes. The ring slid onto his finger, perfect fit. They kissed, slow and sure. The study bookshelves witnessed to the promise. Sara's door creaked. She stood in pajamas, rubbing sleep from her eyes. Did she say yes? Finley laughed, opening his arms. Come here, kiddo. Sara ran, flinging herself between them. She spotted the ring, gasped. It's like my jacket. Evelyn smoothed her hair. Thought it matched our family. Sara's lip trembled. Can I call you Mom? The word hung fragile and perfect. Evelyn's eyes filled. I'd love nothing more. Sara buried her face in Evelyn's shoulder. Mom, she whispered, testing it. The sound settled into the room like snow. May blurred into June. Wedding plans unfolded with Sara's input. Gate 32, intimate, evening. The airport agreed to close the terminal for 3 hours. A donation to the children's wing in exchange. 6 months flew. September arrived golden and warm. The day of the wedding, Terminal D transformed. Gate 32's seating removed, replaced by rows of white chairs draped in ivory. Twinkle lights strung like stars, bluebird ornaments hanging from the ceiling. A simple arch of white roses stood where Finley had collapsed. Sara walked the aisle first, flower girl in a new green dress. Same shade as her jacket, hem swirling with petals. She scattered cornflowers and daisies, grinning at familiar faces. Dr. Patel, Nurse Maria, Gross Enterprises Juniors, Sara's teacher clutching tissues. Finley waited at the arch, flannel tie tucked into a charcoal suit. His hands shook until Sara reached him, slipping her small one into his. Evelyn appeared at the entrance, gown simple silk, emerald necklace echoing the ring. Marcus walked her down the aisle, kissing her cheek before stepping aside. The officiant, a family court judge who owed Evelyn a favor, smiled. We gather at Gate 32, where strangers became family. Vows were their own. Finley first. I was lost that day, clutching my chest and my pride. You ran toward us with open hands. You taught me helpers show up and love stays. I'll keep showing up every day with you and Sara. Evelyn's voice steady.
Welcome to the Alpha Empire, where greatness is built. If this inspired you, please like, share, and subscribe, and become a true part of the empire. Don't forget, this is the #1 way that you can assist us. Don't forget the notification so you can always see more of us. Thanks. We love you.
I missed a plane and found my heart. You gave me ordinary miracles. Burnt cookies, park picnics, bluebirds on windows. I promise to choose you, choose us, through every gate life offers. Sara stepped forward, holding the rings. I promise to be the best daughter. And to share my cookies. Laughter rippled. Rings exchanged. Emerald for Finley, simple band for Evelyn. You may kiss. They did, soft and sure, Sara between them in a 3-way hug. Cheers erupted. Reception spilled into the terminal's open space. Tables draped in linen. Catering from the Italian place near the apartment. Hospital staff toasted with sparkling cider. Gross Enterprises team danced to a playlist Sara curated. Dr. Patel pulled Finley aside. Your heart's stronger than ever. Got good motivation, Finley replied, nodding toward Evelyn and Sara spinning under twinkle lights. Night deepened. The airport reopened beyond the gates, but inside their bubble, time paused. Sara fell asleep on Nurse Maria's lap. Green dress pooled like leaves. 1 year later, September again. Finley stood as VP of Community Outreach, programs in 10 schools teaching financial literacy through soccer leagues. Sara thrived at private school, artwork displayed in the mansion's gallery hallway. They returned to Gate 32 for a family photo. A bronze plaque now marked the spot, where helpers meet. Evelyn wore a simple sundress, hand resting on the subtle curve of her belly. 4 months along, a secret shared only with family. Finley's arm circled her waist. Sara stood in front, green jacket retired to a frame in her room, new backpack bright with patches. The photographer counted down. 3, 2, 1, blick. The photo captured them mid-laugh, sunlight streaming through terminal windows, bluebirds etched in the background. Later, framed in the mansion's entry, the plaque's words beneath. Where helpers meet. Finley kissed Evelyn's temple. Think the baby'll like airports. Sara grinned. Only if we bring snacks. Evelyn laughed, hand on her bump. Deal. Outside, the city moved on, but inside their circle, love had built a forever. One gate, one helper, one ordinary miracle at a time.